Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time, and you know what? He is right. There has never been a better time in human history to get into business. It wasn't until even just recently that even in the digital age, the cost of setting up your own business has gone down to next to nothing. But buying server hosting is dirt cheap. Building your own website you can do with simple software off the shelf. Setting up a Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter account, it's all free. There's never been a human time in history like this, where if you have an idea that you believe will make a difference in people's lives, that you can connect with them anywhere in the world and they will pay you to solve their problems. And that's the magic of the digital age, and that's the good news. But the bad news is there's never been a harder time in history to get people to care. Nobody cares about your business. You know the feeling. When you first get into business, one of the first things you do is you build your website, and you go out and you research all your competition, and then you go to a designer, and then you put the site out there and nobody's going to it. You're looking on Google Analytics and there's almost no visits. And even when there are visits, it's not nearly enough to make a difference. Then you go out and you build your Facebook page, and you've put all this great posts and videos and memes, and no one's liking your Facebook. You can't even get your mom to like your Facebook page. I mean, it's embarrassing. Then you go out on YouTube and you spend all this time, you hire a videographer and you make these amazing videos that are gonna help people, and you think that's gonna make the difference, and then no one's watching your videos. And then you buy ads on Facebook and Google, and no one's buying. So you have traffic, but no one's buying. And it's so demoralizing. I've been there when I started my first business over 10 years ago. I remember spending all this time on my website, spending a couple $1,000s on AdWords, and then literally not a single person bought. And all these things are important. You definitely need a website. You need landing pages. You need emails. You need Facebook page. You need YouTube ads or YouTube page. You need a Twitter account. You need Instagram. You need all of that, and it all needs to work together. But really, none of that stuff matters unless you get one thing right. Story. Story matters. Because if you have a product or service, ultimately nobody's going to buy it unless it does one thing. The definition of sales is taking someone from a place that they are right now, whether it's a place of extreme pain or trying to avoid pain, or maybe they're in a good place but they want to get to a much better place. And sales is the process of convincing someone to invest in a better future. Invest in you and themselves together to create a better future. And people are literally walking around talking to themselves about why they're in pain or why they can't get that bright future that they think them and their family deserve. And they have emotions wrapped up around this. People ultimately, you might try and reason with them and give them all the features and the benefits of why they should buy your product, but ultimately they buy on one thing, and that's emotion. People buy on emotion and justify with logic. So if you can't tap into the emotions that they're feeling, you have no chance to really make a difference in their lives.
Sometimes we forget about that. They're humans. You know, we think they're machines, money-making machines. They don't want their money, but it's not the way it is.
If you feel like him, you can better interact with him because you understand why he is doing what, and so you can help him in a much better way.
I felt in a way like I was inside that person. And by being inside that person, I could know their thoughts, their wants, their what they really wanted to achieve, and that way I could speak better with them.
So empathy. Once you do that, the next thing you have to do is really, now that you're inside their head, you need to really understand what is the story that they're telling themselves in their life. Everyone is walking around based on their pain points and their emotions and what's happening to them, telling themselves a story. And Anthony Robbins loves to say this, and I totally agree with him. Everyone's got a story they're telling themselves. And that's the really interesting part, is if you can figure out a way to change your story, you change your life. And your job as a marketer is really to help people change their story so they can change their lives.
To write the story, that's where everything fell in place for me, because I really understood when I wrote the story in first person, I understood exactly what it was that my client feels. And that made me feel and change a lot of the things that I want to do in the business, because the way we're approaching the client, it's probably not the right way.
Because now I know how to address his story, how to get him where he's at, to speak in a language that he speaks and to be able to explain him what he can do better.
Learning exactly how to talk their language and how to tell them what they want to get out of our product or business or service or whatever, then you identify with those words, you put them in real words that they resonate with them, and therefore you connect with them.
And when people think about story, a lot of brand owners like to get egocentric again and think, well, I need to tell my story and how I'm such a hero for creating this product, or how my company is such a heroic brand. But actually, it's not about that. People really don't care about their story because they're inside their own head. They don't care about what you're doing. Think about the movie Star Wars. Everyone's walking around and they want to be Luke Skywalker in their own story. They don't want you to be Luke Skywalker. They don't want you to impress them and dazzle them. They want to feel like they can be the Luke Skywalker in their own hero's journey through their own life. And your job is to be Yoda. As a brand, as a product, you're playing a very small part in their lives, the story that they're telling themselves, but it's important because Yoda, everyone loves Yoda, it's important. And you just have to be there providing those little nudges so that they can do and accomplish, even if you're helping them a lot, they can accomplish what they are on a journey to do. And that's the goal of your product or service. And digital marketing almost always starts out with a successful free offer, which is something you need to use to interrupt people in the story that they're living and show them there's a different path. And then once you get them to follow you a little bit on the new story you're helping them tell themselves, they're starting to get some confidence, then you can actually gain the knowledge from them. They know, like, and trust you, and then they're going to invest potentially in the paid offer, whether it's a product or service that you have, that's going to help them live that brighter future. Okay, so that's the easy part, all right? Empathy and story. And while I say easy, it's quite hard because you actually have to sit down and go through a process to get this right. But the real hard part is helping people write that story, that digital story that they're going to tell themselves. And people are walking around not waiting for your product or service. If they even know about you, even if they know about you, they're not waiting for you to come around and get into their lives. They're busy. They've never been busier. They've never been bombarded by more information in human history. And you've got to cut through that. And the last part of success in online digital marketing is digital storytelling. You really have to take people where they are, because you know who your ideal client is. You know whether they're young, they're hanging out on Snapchat, or whether they're older, they're on Facebook, or if they're in business or on LinkedIn. You have to meet them there and give them that spark to get them to follow you on your journey. Then they hit that landing page and the copy is speaking right to them on the page. The video is talking right to them and their pain points and their emotions, just offering them a better future. And once they sign up for your free marketing series, then they're getting in there and they're getting emails. It's continuing to lead them down this journey, and it's all linked together. And you have to wrap it in this cocoon of any channel that they might be in, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. They need to see the next part of the story, because most people will not go through your digital story all in one shot. They're going to have to go through it multiple times, or they're going to stop and then they're going to start. And that's really the magic of digital story.
To think about how to start a conversation with our possible customer, how to get in touch first time, and how to keep the conversation alive. By email, by Facebook, by videos, by some free content we can deliver. To deliver value, so he says, okay, what a great company, they give me value. We never thought like this before. Before we just did cold calls and we just told him how great we are. But now this changes the way we have to think, we want to think. So, yeah.
I started doing the fun. I started becoming more creative and understanding better what it was that I wanted to actually sell, because I understood what they wanted to buy. For me, it was really insightful to see how easy it was just going through the whole journey of the 3 days to kind of understand completely what it is how I want to target my client and what it is that my next steps are going to be. I'm really excited to get back to the office on Monday and make this happen.
So when you master these three things: empathy, really understanding your ideal client; story, what is the story that your customer is telling themselves in the head, and how do you rewrite that story? And then finally, once you've written that story, how do I map that story methodically onto a digital storytelling map through the journey they need to take to know, like, and trust you to invest in your services? My name's Sam Cook. I'm the founder of James Cook Media, the author of the StoryMatters workshop and the Story Guild. And I'd like to offer you, if you'd like to take your business to the next level through digital storytelling, I'd like to give you 4 free videos where I'm going to teach you exactly what I mean in 4 30 to 40 minute workshops that I've given to my high-end coaching group. For free, you're going to get to watch my construct around StoryMatters. The second video is going to be how to really empathize with your client and what that really means. Video number 3, how does the hero's journey work? How do you really retell someone's story? Show them they can tell a new story. And then finally, digital storytelling. What's the journey that people need to go through online? How do you map that out so that they can really get that better future that they want? When you sign up for these videos, you're also going to get the free Tools of the Digital Storytelling Craft. It's a guide of all the tools and resources I recommend, and if it's not in there, don't waste your time on it, because these are all the things I've used over my years and decided this is all you really need to know. And then finally, if you watch all these workshops, I'd like to offer you a special bonus. If you've watched the videos, and we'll know because we know how to track that, be happy to have an advisor speak to you. We'll definitely help you get started on your journey to reinventing your business. Then go ahead, click on the button below, enter in your details, and I look forward to seeing you take this journey with my digital story online.